There can be only one. "4:45 in the morning. We're waiting for our Uber. Our UK adventure begins. I'm getting photobombed. Can't wait for you to come along to the journey. And as always, see who gets hustled." The Great Glen Way is a multi-day hike through the Scottish Highlands. It stretches between Fort William and Inverness. We set out to do it south to north in 5 days. In this video, we're going to share with you the good, the bad, and the hustle. We started our journey in Phoenix with a layover in Chicago. We made it to Chicago, got 5 hours to kill, so chilling at the Admiral's Club and very excited to get on our flight to London. More than enough time to grab some food and drink and get excited about our trip. We're going hiking in the Highlands of Scotland on the Great Glen Way. Love the retro American planes celebrating their 100 years of aviation. Next thing you know, we were boarding. Before we knew it, we were landing in London.
Landed in London, and we are very excited.
We stayed at the Hilton at Heathrow Terminal 4. We did a full review on this hotel, so be sure to check that out. The next morning, we were off to catch our train to Glasgow. For our night in Glasgow, we stayed at the Hampton Inn, which was a 10-minute walk from the train station. Gonna do a little shopping in Glasgow before we get on the train and head up to Fort William. We are excited about our hike, the Great Glen Way hike, which starts tomorrow. Big question is, not are we getting hustled, but are we in shape? We're gonna find that out, and it might not be pretty, my friends. It might not be pretty. Years ago, we did the Tour de Mont Blanc hike, and we did not realize that we were not in shape until we got to the hike. And then after a couple days of hiking, we got in hiking shape. So we're gonna see if this is the truth or not on this hike as well. Come along for the ride. Hiking and camping store to get us in the mood. Gotta love the Scottish weather forecast. Looks like it's the same pretty much any day. So we're at Glasgow Queen Street. We're gonna take the train to Fort William. One more step closer to kicking off the Great Glen Way hike. We're gonna get a little food at Marks and Spencer. Choices are endless, endless, my friends. That looks good. Then it was on the train from Glasgow to Fort William. The beautiful scenery was starting, and we met some amazing people along the way. So after a good train ride, we have arrived in Fort William. Excited for the next leg of our journey to get on with the Great Glen Way. So before we go to our hotel for the night, we're going to go get something to eat at a place called Ben Nevis. It appears everything up here is named Ben Nevis, so hopefully we find the right place. Welcome to Fort William. Getting some good practice for the hike already. This is just coming out of the train station at Fort William. You know you're in Scotland, it's May, it starts to rain, you can see snow on the mountains. This is so cool. Now, this is a picturesque, cute town of Fort William, and as a couple told us on the train, basically one street that has it all on it. St. Andrew's Church, lush green and beautiful here in Scotland. Seen some cute towns in my day, but this has to be one of the cutest. Henry Ford immortalized here, I believe. All right, this is where we were told to go, the Ben Nevis. If you've ever imagined what a charming Scottish pub would look like, this is it. If you want to do a whiskey flight here, you can top one off for £158. That'll get you there and back. I'm going to do some West Coast mussels with skinny fries. All right, pint of Guinness to start our trip to Scotland in style. Yes, I know we're not in Ireland. Cheers to the Great Glen Way. All right, I got full mussels with skinny fries. I think this meal includes all the food groups: French fries, mussels, beer. My wife got the nourish bowl with fried halloumi, which she said was amazing, but it wasn't good enough to stop her from stealing my fries. £50 for all that, which did include a 10% service charge. We had dinner at the Ben Nevis and now going to go find a taxi cab to take us to our hotel for the night. Funnily enough, the taxi driver was the son of the lady who managed the B&B we were staying at. All right, we're getting ready for the first day's journey here in the hotel. We got our backpacks packed. Cannot believe it is finally here. We prepared for this for over a year. We're in Fort William at the start of the Great Glen Way. Let's get it done. Whatever the question isn't who's getting hustled, the question is, are we in shape or not? We're going to find out. So we're starting this journey in mid-May. A couple good things about that. Not too touristy yet. Guess the tourists really hit the Great Glen Way at the end of May and through September. The other thing is there's something called midges, and I guess they're not out yet because it's too cold, which is a good thing. But the other thing is it's rather cold. So we'll keep you posted on how warm we stay throughout the trek. So this is the symbol of the Great Glen Way. Hopefully we see many of these along our path. All right, we're hanging a left here. So excited to start our journey, accompanied by the beautiful skies and great cloud covering. I don't know who that's keeping out or keeping in.
Americans.
So big question is, who's Glen and why is he great? So Glen isn't actually a guy. A glen is a valley. Like in the US, we'd call a valley a valley. Here they call it a glen. And this is the Great Glen Way because it stretches for so many miles. Beautiful rushing stream off to our left as we head north out of Fort William. Just gorgeous. Listen to the sound of that. And more great signage on your way here on the Great Glen. Going across the Soldiers Bridge. Just when I had the thought, are we on the right path? We're on the right path. It's a little cold when we started this morning, so we're taking a break to take our jackets off and strip down a little. They got the signs in residential neighborhoods. They got them everywhere. And literally, just as we stop to take our jackets off, it gets cold again. I have a feeling we could sort of play that game all day, my friends, all day. This is just a taste of the beautiful scenery that was to come, and you just want to soak in every second of it. This boat is one of the hallmarks of your beginning of your journey on the Great Glen Way. I guess if you don't pass this boat, it means you really didn't start your journey.
Little rain.
Little rain, my friend.
Welcome to Scotland.
Welcome to Scotland! We've only just started, but the countryside and the weather here is just, it's really dramatic and quite beautiful. There's a couple ways you can do the Great Glen Way. Some people choose to hike and camp. Other people choose to stay in hotels, motels, sort of the route we're doing at this point in our life. If you're camping, you are very adventurous. I will say that because it gets cold and wet and rainy out here pretty quickly. So we're going to break our journey down into two parts for you. We're going to show you sort of the hiking part of the journey, and then we're going to show you the accommodations in another video as well, so you can get a sense of the hotels we stayed at and the Airbnb. Come along and enjoy the journey in Scotland. Ice cream, how can they be closed? That's actually going to go through the locks, raising as we speak. Here's the doors being opened. Let that boat through. Here comes the boat. These locks actually work. How cool is that? Cruising holidays with activities on the Roskrana. I probably didn't pronounce that right. Oh yeah, they got biking, canoeing, picnicking, all sorts of things here. And after that little rainstorm, back to a glorious morning here along the Great Glen Way. All right, time for a reality check. We're about 7 to 8 miles in on the first day out of 10, and I got to admit my legs are cramping up. Not cramping up, but boy, are they tightening up. So first day blues are here. We'll be looking forward to getting to the hotel. A little rest and recovery. Then I think we have a 20-mile day tomorrow, so that'll be the real test. This yellow along the canal is just so beautiful and so vibrant. It's just a glorious day here in Scotland. Cute little baby sheep. I'm sure we'll see more. It's only the first day, but it sort of feels like you got the whole trail to yourself. I mean, there's other people biking and hiking, but very alone, very peaceful out here. Taking our first little rest of the day, having a sandwich here, and just enjoying the view. And boy, when the sun goes away, it gets cold really quick in Scotland. So I got the Scottish version of my Trader Joe's chicken and pesto sandwich. In America, the pesto sauce is a dip. Here it is rolled in, and I gotta say I like this better. I like the pesto sauce rolled in. I was just so happy I hadn't passed out on day one. So we completed the hiking portion of our first day's journey. We're at the pickup spot and we're waiting for transport to our Airbnb, which apparently isn't open for another couple hours. So hopefully they can drop us somewhere either in a really tiny village or a brew pub nearby, spend a couple hours there, and then get to our Airbnb. I hope they come soon. It is cold out here. According to this sign, we came 11 miles from Fort William. Not bad for our first day. We'll take it. The legs are hurting. Apparently, the area we're in was a big area for commandos to train in for World War II. They'd hike over to sort of Ben Nevis. I think they'd have to climb to the peak of it every day or something crazy like that. And that's why they're commandos and not me, right? I know you're in the UK when you see the red phone booth. Doesn't look like it's in operation anymore. It looks like they have a defibrillator in there. Thankfully, we didn't stand out in the cold too long. The owner arrived and gave us a ride to our accommodations for the night. So today, our first day on the hike, we did about 23,000 steps and 10.7 miles. So that was a good welcome to the Great Glen Way. Proud of us. We're going to walk to the town, sort of see what the food options are. We've heard there's sort of slim to none, and Slim just left town, so we'll keep you posted on that. There is only one restaurant in the town. It's at the old railroad station. Part of it's been converted into a restaurant, and we stopped in earlier, and they were already sold out of reservations on a Friday night. So if we don't feel like waiting, we're going to see if there's something at the grocery store called Spar, and then just go from there. Not, funnily enough, after our first day of hiking, we're not starving. Like I'm going to get 2 slices of Chicago Town pizza. There you go. Gourmet dining at its finest in Scotland. Chicago-style pizza from the Spar. Not bad. Not authentic Chicago, but not bad. All right, beginning day 2 of the trek on the Great Glen Way from Gairlochy to Invergarry. It's supposed to be about 17 miles. It's about 9:40 in the morning, and let's get on with it. Why does every day seem to start uphill? Why? It's about 10 in the morning. We're sort of doing a cut through from a road to get down to the canals, and then I think that's where we'll be hiking most of the day. Temperature right now is really nice. Don't know what it is in centigrade, but let's see. Fahrenheit, it's probably mid to high 50s, so feels comfortable at the moment. We encountered a travel group at the beginning of today, and this is probably the most people we saw in one spot during the whole hike. They like their shipwrecks along the Great Glen Way. Here's another one at the beginning of our journey today. It appears the shipwreck might be the unofficial kicking off point for day 2. Excited to see how we do on 17 miles. It'll be interesting to say the least.
Hi. Hello. Hello.
Okay, now I'm seeing why Glen is so great. This is gorgeous. Looks like a concrete slab. This is a practice landing craft or landing place for commandos for World War II. They did a lot of their commando training up here in the Highlands. Luxury ice cream, Loch Ness ice cream. Believe it or not, I'm not going to stop though. Got some nice houses out here in the countryside. I know this is a house and it's not nature, but their foliage is just beautiful. And as you do continue on the Great Glen Way, they're very proud of the commandos that trained near here and talk about all the training that went on in the lakes and the surrounding countryside. It's like an old boathouse or the fort where the commandos were. Need a permit if you want to go fishing. Once you do make the trek to the Highlands, it is beyond the price of admission. So hopefully all these images come out. Gorgeous up here, a beautiful day. You've been thinking about coming up to Scotland and the Highlands, do it. What you gotta love about Scotland, you just look to your left and there's some sheep grazing on a beautiful hillside. So my advice and training for the Great Glen Way or TMB is whenever you think you've done enough training and hiking, do more. You will not regret it.
Keeping the hustle fresh.
So a day and a half into the hike, one of the things I've noticed is that if you don't bring drinking water with you on the hike, you're probably not going to find any along the way. And also there's sort of a lack of bathrooms so far. So keep those things in mind. There are a few streams along the way, so if you brought a water filtration system, you should be okay. To me, one of the most beautiful parts about being out here are just the sounds of the Russian brook, the beautiful smells you have out here. It's just such a peaceful feeling. It's been a pretty steep hill up to this point. Hopefully we're almost near the top. Take a water break here. We're going through the stones, Doing my first gel of the trip. Got to get that energy going. Honey Stinger. Not endorsing them, but they're pretty good.
BTS. The making of.
Hustling with the hustler. Then we reached the shores of Loch Lochy, which is one of the deepest freshwater lakes or lochs in the UK, with a depth of 162 meters or 531 feet. Now we get to enjoy going downhill for a little bit. So I've been hiking for about 3 hours now on the second day, about 16,000 steps according to my Google Fit app, and we've done 7 miles, so 10 left to go. Here's one of the big features along the way, the bear. You know you've made it somewhere when you're at the bear. This is an unnamed trailblazer campsite with an outhouse and a shelter. All right, we're ready for a real bathroom. This is awesome. This is a little shelter along the way that people actually camp in. For lots of different factors, this shelter has come to the rescue of many hikers throughout the years. There's some brave souls. They got the bear theme running at this little pit stop, and these guys are ready to go canoeing. So even while hiking, you got to encounter some detours. So you get a choice between the low route and the high route. Looks like they are doing construction on the low route, so you're being forced on the high route, whether you like it or not. The Great Glen Way has been constructed to accommodate work on SSE renewables, core glass, pumped hydro storage scheme, whatever that is. So they're detouring you for progress, right? The real funny thing is today we are actually going to choose the low route. See how we fare after this. Okay, I do have to say the high route is worth it. This is beyond gorgeous. Sun went away and we entered some real beautiful pine forest. Feels like we entered the enchanted forest. So this is the fenced off area of the detour where they must be doing the hydro work, as they say. So making us continue on the high route. It's pretty. It was nice walking through the forest. Beautiful sounds. I think if you go the low route, you're next to the lake. So it's just a little of both sides of the coin. One is beautiful. The other would be beautiful in a different way. Hi, my friend. Hi. A lot of people stop by the Eagle Barge Inn. We're not going to be stopping there today, but very popular stop along the route. Here's our pit stop, having a ham and cheddar cheese sandwich that we got yesterday at Spar.
It's getting chilly again.
It is again. Oh, I think I'll put my coat right down. The Eagle Barge Inn is a Dutch barge which was used as a troop carrier in World War II. It was brought over to Scotland and converted into a restaurant and bar. It's become a very popular stop for Great Glen Way hikers. One of the amazing things about this hike is how the landscape around you changes every 5 to 10 minutes. Then we came face to face with a deer on our trail. Totally unexpected, so beautiful. Then as we were hiking merrily along, we were forced into another diversion. Very unexpected. We found ourselves climbing through the woods, following a makeshift trail marked by branches and orange marks. There was no other option. Steeper than we expected. If I had a beer at the Eagle Barge Inn, I'd be puking it up by now. And as they say, the best way out is through it. We ended up on a road with signs that were telling us to go left. We knew the original trail was to the right, so we went right anyway. And we could totally see why they don't want you going to the right, or they don't want hikers going to the right. There were a lot of trucks, a lot of logs. We could see this was a major safety hazard. Thankfully, it was a Saturday, so no one was working on the site, and we felt very safe walking through the area, and the views were incredible. On the way, my wife spotted our hotel in the distance. Woohoo! That was a good sign. It meant we were getting closer to a shower and a comfy bed. Day 2 of the Great Glen Way is in the books. Today we did 17.22 miles, 36,000 steps. We're gassed. The wife is in bed already, gearing up towards day 3. We had a lot of diversions, as they call them today. We had to cut up some weird routes through the woods and the forest and down through logging roads. So it was a crazy day. Look forward to sharing the journey with you.
On the way to take the bus.
So beginning of day 3 here on the Great Glen Way, we're walking to the bus station and we got some blisters, some aches, some pain. So we're gonna catch a bus to Fort Augustus and then continue the journey on from there. So giving the bodies a break. This is a vacation after all, right? Our final destination of the day is Invermoriston. Fort Augustus is 7 miles. Hopefully on the bus, we're gonna make that in about 15 minutes. We'll see, right? Here's the bus stop for our 919 to Fort Augustus. One stop only, comes only about 5 or 6 times a day. Is that it? Holy cow. Right on time, my God, he's good.
Good morning.
You the piquets?
Yes.
Woo! That was a very rough trip to Fort Augustus. Only took 15 minutes by bus. 15 minutes. Wow, that was easy, my friends. That was easy. I know I say this about every town we get to, but this has to be one of the cutest little towns there is. Just rolling through it on the bus. We're gonna take a little time, explore, look at the beautiful river here, enjoy the view before we get on with the hike. Cute little riverside cafe here. You can feel the breeze coming, my friends. You can feel the breeze. Wonder if it's gonna rain. Wow, the gray is actually really, really beautiful. We just got dropped off here. We'll have to figure out which of these Great Glen Way signs we follow. This is supposed to be the famous ice cream place, Isle of Arran Scottish dairy ice cream. If it wasn't raining, I would have got more ice cream, but it's raining and cold, but had to give it a try while in Scotland. Wow, that is really smooth and creamy. I'm going to go on and on about this ice cream. It is really good. You can tell it's unlike American ice cream. There's just less ingredients in it. It's just smooth, creamy, rich. I got that wonderful ice cream at the Cobb's Cafe. Yay. We ready at Ace Vacay? We ready? And 10 minutes later, after it was raining, it's bright and sunny.
Can't get enough of the shaggy cows. I might end up getting one for myself.
We had enough fooling around in the town of Fort Augustus. Time to get on with the hike for the day. Big question will be, do we take the high route or the low route? We have not decided yet, so we'll see when we get there.
Everyone ready?
We're ready, let's do this. So heading out of Fort Augustus at what I would call our official beginning of the trail for the day. We've done up 1.18 miles and about 2,800 steps. So we'll see how many we get in today. I'll keep track and I'll keep you posted. And yes, I'm running out of gas already. We haven't gone 30 feet. Ay, ay, ay. It was rain, then it was sunshine. Now we're back to rain, my friends, back to rain. All right, the day just began. We're on to some elevation. And yes, huffing and puffing already. Ay, 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 my friends, ay, ay, ay. Aside from the logging in the foreground, Scotland is just one beautiful vista after another up here in the Highlands. So I could be mistaken, but if I'm not, that is the beginning of Loch Ness, and we will follow that up this way.
Absolutely gorgeous.
All right, this is where we see if my wife really loves me. We're going to do the high route, and who knows what it entails. So we just chose the high route, which says we have 6.9 miles to Invermoriston, 330 meters of climb, which I equate to be about 1,000 feet. So it doesn't sound like much until you're out here, right?
Tudo bem?
Tudo bem. This is the second choice to go the high route. You could beg off and go the low route. What are we going to do? We're going to go the high route. We might regret it later, but we're going to go.
Up we go.
It is beyond soothing out here in the Scottish countryside. All the aches, the pains, the travel turmoils, they're all worth it to be here and to see nature as beautiful as this. Not sure if that is it for the elevation for today, but if it was worth it. It's a little gray behind us, but absolutely glorious up here. Been an hour and 20 minutes since we left Fort Augustus. Done like 2.6 miles. The high route. We're coming up on the view of Loch Ness, and we'll tell you if the price we paid is worth it. My wife is saying it's worth the climb. When I was growing up, all you did was hear stories of the Loch Ness monster, and now, can't believe it, I'm actually here. Haven't seen Nessie yet, but I'll let you know if I do. Just when you think you're done with the elevation, there is more. There's always more. Woo! Never ends. Wow! That is Loch Ness, my friends. That is Loch Ness.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Perfectly timed little break from the wind. Aye, aye, aye. Time for an energy gel. It is well deserved, well deserved.
Little nut bar, little energy gel, trail mix, and took the best thing ever.
Funny thing is, behind the little stone wall, I went to relieve myself. We haven't seen anybody on this trail in 2 hours. Of course, the moment I pop behind there, somebody's walking by. Couldn't plan it better.
This might be the beginning of the descent. We don't know.
In terms of layers right now, I got 4 layers on. I got a t-shirt. I got sort of a Columbia sort of, not like a polo shirt, but a button-up shirt with short sleeves. Got a pullover over that and got my raincoat. And that's keeping me pretty warm at the moment. But it's a little nippy out here, my friends. A little nippy. If you are doing this hike, you got to make sure you pause, take a couple moments, and enjoy the view. Steep descent, we're ready. Scotland is a wild and woolly place. A lot of logging up here in the Highlands and then just on the beautiful Loch Ness. We're starting what they say is a very steep descent from sort of the top of our diversion or our high route up Loch Ness. So trying to get down safely and then looking forward to our hotel and resting the legs and checking on the blisters. Now I can see why they warned you about this descent. It is a little steeper than most we've had. You know how in the U.S. kids have lemonade stands? Like if a kid had a hot chocolate stand by the side of the road, I mean, the side of the trail here, he'd clean up. He would clean up. This is a steep descent, I will give him that. We're still on the descent. It's not as steep as it was on the switchbacks, but now we're entering into another enchanted forest here in Scotland. So for the day, we're at 8 miles and 18,000 steps. Remember, we did take the cab ride to Fort Augustus, so today's hike, I think, will be about 10 miles, so maybe we've got a couple left. We'll see, but taking the high route to see those gorgeous views of Loch Ness was definitely worth it.
Did you say a cab ride?
I meant to say bus ride, bus ride. We didn't take a cab ride. I'm a ding-dong. I'm an amateur. My wife and I are both saying that this really steep descent reminds us a lot of Tour de Mont Blanc. And boy, these downhills sometimes are tougher than the uphills. My legs are literally like quivering like jelly right now. Well, at least we know we're somewhere on the right path. We got our friendly blue signpost pointing us in the right direction. There's my partner in crime. All right, it's saying to keep going straight across the road, so we're gonna trust the sign. Trust the sign. So at this point, we're about 9 miles in, and all I can dream about is sort of semi-comfortable bed, shower, some food. To the people that camp the Great Glen Way, my hat is off to them. That is it's not an easy journey. So if you're camping, well done, my friends, well done. Got another steep ascent coming up. At least we're still traveling in the right direction. That's all that matters. 1 foot in front of the next. And now we turn to the right. Go back to the right. Seems like we're done with the wilderness for the day and on to the city. I don't know if it's a city of Invermoriston. Cute little cottage here. My goodness, how cute is that? The poppies. They love the poppies, lest we forget. Looks like they have a monument to the people who served in the First World War. How nice. And the Second World War from this region. Cute little store, a great little shopkeeper named Stefan from France. Pleasure to talk with him. Tonight we're staying at the Brockarina House. Make sure you check out our video coming after this one on all our accommodations along the Great Glen Way. All right, beginning of day 4, leaving Brockarina House in Invermoriston, going to Drumnadrochit. It's about a 14-mile hike. Today we will encounter the highest peak or the highest point on the Great Glen Way. So not sure if we're excited about that or not. I'm sure it'll be pretty, but it'll be challenging as well. So come along for the journey. Let's go. All right, let's get it on. It's cold. We're getting on the road at about 8:15 a.m. and see how the day goes. Knew the elevation was going to come early in the day, but didn't know it was going to come this early. It'd be nice not to be sweaty for 5 minutes, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Morning.
We turn the corner and get a nice little flat stretch with a view of Loch Ness up there. How nice is that? So one of the most difficult things to navigate on the hike is just sort of your temperature and your layers. I started out with 3 layers today, and right now I'm so hot that I know if I take off my puff jacket, I'll probably be freezing. So it's always a tough balance of figuring out, how to keep that temperature regulated. This is the moment of decision. One of the things on the high route is this Viewcatcher, landmark that everybody likes a picture with. So we're going to go for it, and we'll see what happens. 470 meters. Yesterday, day 3, we had 330 meters. So this is it's a little longer, a little higher.
We can do it. We can do it.
And we keep going up. The high route continues. Say hello, Inace.
Hello. We can do it. We can do it.
Ooh. Sure what kind of mining they're doing here, but never a dull moment in the Highlands of Scotland. That is it. The Viewcatcher. Woohoo! Iconic Scottish Great Glen Way landmark.
The Viewcatcher.
We made it. Yay.
We did it.
We did it. Designed to highlight the stunning view, which it is. Oh wow, that is gorgeous. So we did the Viewcatcher, which was on the higher route, and then we came down from that, and there was an option to go on a lower route, and we decided to do that just because the high routes are beautiful, but also we just wanted to get close to the lake. We thought, how often are we going to have a chance to walk close to Loch Ness? So working our way on the low route towards hopefully Loch Ness. Nine miles left to Drumnadrochit from where we're at, so we'll see how long that takes us. It's about 10:30 in the morning. Adventure on the road! How are we going to get by this? Oh no! What are we going to do? Trials and travails on the Great Glen Way. All right, 3 hours into day 4. We've gone about 6.5 miles, almost 14,000 steps, and not doing too bad so far. It seems like all we're doing is going up. Whatever kind of training you think you're doing for this hike, make sure you quadruple it and you should be good to go. Right, we've arrived somewhere. I think we're connecting with the high route that we did not take before. That's the high route to the Viewcatcher. And now Drumnadrochit 7 miles. Seems like I saw 9 miles like 10 miles ago. Those people up ahead, those are the first hikers we've seen in a couple hours. Sort of sparsely populated up here in the Highlands. I know I shouldn't say anything about the weather, but the weather today and through most of this trip has been absolutely perfect. Just great temperature, cool, so you don't, well, we've talked about the overheating, but it's just been so nice. The gray skies here in Scotland are so beautiful. So highly recommend it if you've been thinking about a trip to the Highlands. Plan it, get out and do it. So 5 hours into our journey today, we've done over 10 miles, 22,000 steps, probably 3 or 4 miles from the what is it? Drumnadrochit. So hopefully we'll find it soon. Hold on. We've walked all of Scotland and it's our first shaggy cow. There you go. They seem to take a lot of care in improving the Great Glen Way trail, and this looks like a new signpost and a new trail, which is not open yet. We're sort of still on the old one, but looks like good things to come if you're traveling this way. So we've been walking along the side of the road for a while, and now we're detouring left to go to Drumnadrochit. So we're about 6 hours into the day. We've done 13 miles and 28,000 steps. Hopefully we're coming up on Drumnadrochit. Should be like mile and a half away. We'll see, right? I mean, sometimes when you're hiking, you do sort of fantasize about being at the hotel, but the nature, the beauty here is just, it's literally unparalleled, just the serenity of it all. That is civilization on the horizon, my friend. Civilization. Woohoo! It's almost impossible to describe in words how beautiful this forest is. Just the pine trees, the peacefulness, the serenity, the smells. It's incredible. Not sure if it's showing up on camera, but a little rain here at the end of the day. Nothing to feel like you got to put your raincoat on or cover your backpack, but just enough to sort of lightly refresh you and keep you moving at the end of the day. And just as quickly as it was raining, it's sunny, and it's still raining. Welcome to Scotland. We love seeing the blue signs. The blue signs always make you smile. In preparation for the hike, one of the things you read a lot about is midges and having protection for midges and being aware of them, the little bugs. And we haven't had too many on our hike, maybe a couple we've had to swat out of the way, but it hasn't been bad. And maybe that's because we're here in May and it's still a little cooler. So maybe they're not out yet. Don't know for sure, but the midges have not been a problem as we've sort of read about. Usually when you hit the road at the end of the day, you know that you're close to your hotel. That wasn't exactly the case in Drumnadrochit. We hit the road and still had about 20 to 30 minutes left. Gotta love the Highlands. We came out of the co-op where we bought our dinner, and it literally must have dropped like 10 degrees in 2 minutes. Entering into the cute little town of Drumnadrochit. Like I said, every town in Scotland just gets cuter and cuter. We found it after all this hiking. Update on day 5 here at the Great Glen Way. So we were gonna take a taxi or an Uber up to this place called Cafe Abriaken, which gets good reviews and known for the characters who serve you the food as well as the food itself. We could not get an Uber or a sort of taxi ride up there, which is absolutely fine. We're gonna skip the high part and then do like the last 12 miles. Couldn't get a ride up there. And in retrospect, it's okay. We're going to end up taking a bus to Inverness, and even walking from the hotel to the bus stop, my feet, my shins are hurting so bad. So this could have been a really long day after all. So we'll trust that things are working for us and go from there. The CityLink Bus 919 was great, very clean and comfortable. It's only £2 per person, but you do have to purchase your tickets on their website prior to taking the bus, which was quick and easy to do. Thankfully, my wife took care of that. It's a great way to move around the Highlands on a budget, not to mention it's a beautiful ride. One of the funny things about Inverness is, after your time in the Highlands, being in a bunch of small cities and villages, Inverness looked like a large city. Thank you so much. All right, we survived the grueling bus ride from Drumnadrochit to Inverness. We're here safely. Looking forward to exploring Inverness, so come along with us. You need to rent a kilt for the day. You can, starting at £99. We might have skipped the hike for the day, but we're climbing up some stairs to the Inverness Castle, and it's putting the hurt on the legs and the feet, to be honest with you. Just like the elevation in Scotland. Think you're to the top of the steps. And there's more. Say hi, Anais.
Hi. We can do it. We can do it.
Yeah. Oof. Inverness Castle is the official end of the Great Glen Way hike. And what a beautiful way to finish. We did our diligent research on best restaurants to eat in Inverness. Third best in Inverness is something called McGregor's Pub. It's about an 8-minute walk from here. We're going to wander over there and give it a try. Love this little landscaping for the trees here. That's cool. All right, we've arrived at McGregor's Pub. Let's do it. Very warm welcome. Find a seat. Menus are at the bar. Order and pay for food and drinks at the bar. Enjoy your stay. Thank you.
Out of Cullen skink and steak pie.
One of their sandwiches or burgers is called the Hero, our national hero, William Wallace, but it's a Southern fried chicken burger. I don't know if William Wallace had a Southern fried chicken burger, but hey, you never know. I'm gonna do the Beast, Ness's double-side smash burger. I still don't know if I really know what a smash burger is, but just going for it. Got some of the red ale. They only sell it in half a pint because it's 7.25% alcohol content. So let's give it a try and see how it is. Wow, smooth finish. Very nice, no bite, but I'm sure it packs a wallop. My wife went for one of their salads with halloumi cheese, of course, and I couldn't wait to eat my burger. The beast, woohoo! It's a good burger. Wherever you go in Scotland, that advertises like 2 4-ounce burgers, and I don't know why they do that, but it's really good, and whatever the sauce is, adds a nice little kick to it. Love these urinals. Love these things. All right, topping off a great meal, McGregor's, with a stop to the gelato place next by, some cappuccino and salted caramel. Good night. Before heading to the hotel, we stopped in M&S Food Hall to grab some dinner to take to the hotel. We love M&S because of the large variety of items they offer. They got sandwiches, fruits, amazing salads, appetizers, whatever you want. You can find pretty much anything, healthy and unhealthy. For that evening, we grabbed a couple of salads and, of course, some treats. Since we skipped the hike for the day, we decided to walk to the hotel, which was about 20 minutes outside of city center. We had to get some steps in for the day, didn't want to be complete and total slackers, and it was a beautiful walk. So I know I'm going to look like a boozer drinking straight out of the bottle, but we're staying here at the hotel waiting for our cab. I asked the manager what his recommendations were on a good entry-level Scotch. He recommended Tomatin Legacy, so I'm going to give it a try. He gave me a little sample bottle before I buy a bottle, so I know this is uncouth, but forgive me. Oh, wow. Very smooth, nice finish, not too much of a bite. Sometimes the scotches just have too much of a bite for me. But I really like this. I think I will get a bottle to take home. Cheers. Before heading to the train station, we did stop at a whiskey shop. I wanted to take a little piece of Scotland back home with me, and I did find what I was looking for. Do you like this one yourself?
Yeah.
And off to the train station. At Inverness train station, wrapping up our time in the Highlands. Big question is always, who got hustled? I would say the Great Glen Way hustled me. I think I underprepared for this hike, and it got the best of me because I couldn't do the 5th day. My feet were a hamburger. My legs were really tight. To go 20 miles would have been straining, to say the least. So Great Glen Way, good job. You hustled the hustler. You ready to get to Edinburgh? Edinburgh.
I'm ready.
I'm ready too. Let's go.
Keep on hustling.
Another beautiful train ride through Scotland, but the adventure isn't over yet. More hotel hustles yet to come. Next up, Edinburgh. Stay tuned.